Employers are the entities hiring your personnel to work jobs. These are often referred to as customers or vendors. Building employer profiles will allow administrators and, if assigned, personnel administrators to post jobs for that entity. Administrators can create employer profiles by hovering over Employer on the top menu bar and clicking New Employer. Enter a name, address, and select a category for this employer as the type. Employer type category options are created via your site's code tables. Optionally, you can enter a customer number or general contact information for this employer. Notice the obsolete checkbox. If this employer were to go out of business or your agency stops working jobs with them, checking the obsolete box will deactivate the profile. Note that all historical information will still remain in the system. You can always choose to reactivate employer profiles at any time. Once finished with this general information, press Save to access other tabs. The Locations tab stores physical locations where your personnel will work for this employer. This can be helpful for entities like school districts or franchises where jobs in multiple locations are invoiced to the same employer. Locations can even be helpful here for large venues, such as an arena where personnel may be stationed at different entrances, gates, or parking lots. Information in the Billing tab will populate on invoices generated in Power Details, but can be modified on individual invoices if needed. If you pay personnel or bill this specific employer at a different hourly rate than is indicated in your site settings, entering rates in the personnel rate or billing rate section will let the system know to use these instead of your standard rates when building a job. If this employer is not associated with unique rates, leave these fields blank. Entering a billing rate of $0 will indicate that jobs for this employer are non-billable by default, but can be altered on individual jobs if necessary. The invoice grouping section will determine how invoices compile for this employer. If you have indicated a billing cycle in your site settings, reported hours will be associated with a particular time frame when personnel complete their jobs. To illustrate each option here, let's say that you have a monthly billing cycle. If Group All is chosen, all details will compile on a single invoice for that month. Group Personnel and Fees works similarly, but will separate out personnel and fees. For this option, two invoices would be created per month, one containing all the personnel, one containing all the fees. Group Fees Only creates a single invoice for all fees per month, but provides individual invoices per person. This can be helpful when personnel are paid directly, but you invoice fees separately. Group by Job prompts the system to create a single invoice per individual job ID entered on the calendar. If you are compiling invoices for a unique range of jobs outside of your billing cycle, this can be useful in making each invoice and job easily identifiable. Finally, the No Grouping option creates unique invoices per person, along with any fees associated with them. This option is best for when personnel manage their own billing or are paid directly. The Billing tab for each employer also presents two sub-tabs. We can record any credits issued or prepayments by an employer under the Credits tab, and view a summary of all invoice transactions here. The Users tab on the employer profile allows administrators to give access to contacts at this employer to a mini portal of Power Details. With an employer user role, these contacts can request jobs through the system. Administrators will receive alerts to review the requested job and make changes if necessary before allowing the post to be seen by personnel. Employer users also have access to view any invoices sent or marked as sent within Power Details, making communication easier than ever.